Hey girls, so this is my third video of the evening. Okay, so this is another one of my really funny story videos. I guess I should probably, I've talked about my siblings and the weird little things that they do, so I should probably talk about some of the random things that I used to do when I was really little. This is going to be interesting because I was a very, very strange child. My parents will tell you this repeatedly, that I was a very nosy little kid, and I tended to get into some trouble. And I guess my first example will probably be when I was about 2.5. We went to my great-grandmother's in Winnipeg, which is in Manitoba, and if anybody doesn't know where that is, it's just above North Dakota. So I'm kind of hoping, you know, you guys in the U.S. sort of have a general idea of where that would be. So we went to Winnipeg and went to visit my great-grandma, which is my grandmother's mother. And she used to have a pair of sewing scissors, and these are very, very jagged-edged scissors, and I decided it would be a great idea at the age of 2.5 to cut my own hair. They almost had to shave my head in order to fix the damage that I'd done. I, of course, was not with my mother at this point. My mom was in Cuba on vacation, and I was being babysat by my grandparents. So when she came home, I was playing in the backyard. I had a baseball hat on, and it actually didn't look like I had hair. That's how short they cut my hair, because I decided to chop all of this off with a pair of sewing scissors. I will actually show you a picture of me if I can find one at that age. And you can see how long my hair used to be before I got a hold of the scissors. Okay. That used to be my hair. And then I decided to take a pair of scissors to it, and it was cut a lot shorter than that. It did grow back, and my hair went back to being just like that, but yeah, my mother was not very impressed. And this, by the way, folks, is why you should never leave small children around anything by themselves. They will do the weirdest things. And yes, by the way, that is an actual picture of me when I was a child. I was cute once. I don't really know what happened. So, there's my first lovely incident of Jess type stupidity. A few years later, this is actually a really funny story, and it's kind of embarrassing to tell because it makes me sound like a very stupid kid. But, I don't know if any of you ever had a mom who told you that they had eyes in the back of their head. But when I was really small, I used to talk to my stuffed animals, and I used to tell them all the little things that I was going to do that would have normally gotten me in trouble. And my mom used to, hear me talking to myself, and she would be like, "Jessica, don't do that," and I'd be like, "How did you know what I was about to do?" And she would tell me that she had eyes in the back of her head, and I believed her, being, you know, 4, 5. And so my mom used to have very, 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 very long curly hair, and she decided that she no longer wanted to have this long curly hair, and she wanted to literally cut it all off. So we went to the hairdressers, and as we were in the hairdressers, I was there with her because my mom at the time was a single mother, you know, didn't have anybody to watch me, so I used to go with her. And I'm sitting in the chair at the hairdressers, and all of a sudden, when they're cutting her hair, like the back of her head, might I add, I started freaking out and crying and completely having a meltdown in the hairdressers. And they asked me what was wrong. My mom was like, "Jessica, what is wrong with you?" And the hairdresser was like, "Jessie, what's wrong?" Because they used to be like a friend of my mom. And I looked at her, and I was like, "You're gonna poke her in the eye. You're gonna cut her eyes out." And they were like, "Jess, we're cutting the back of her head." And they're like, "We're nowhere near her eyes." I'm like, "No, not those eyes. The ones that are in the back of her head. You're gonna cut them. You're gonna poke her eyes out." Freaking right out. My mom was, of course, trying not to laugh at me. She actually realized that I believed that she truly had eyes in the back of her head. And so you know, they finished cutting her hair or whatever after they got me settled down. I'm like, my mother of course doesn't bother to tell me that she doesn't have eyes in the back of her head, but just tells me that the hairdresser isn't going to poke her in these eyes. And so, once they're done cutting her hair, 5-year-old little me climbs up onto a stool, looks at the back of my mom's head, and goes, "Your hair's not short enough, I can't see them yet." I was still looking for the eyes. I was dead convinced that my mother's hair hadn't been cut short enough because I couldn't see these eyeballs. So, yeah, there's an indication that I'm a very special child, and I was very, very gullible at that age because I truly believe my mother had eyes in the back of her head. I'm trying to think of what other dumb things I've done. Oh, here's something that might amuse a few people. I wasn't allowed to see my dad when I was little, but my grandmother liked to take me to go see my dad. And one day, when I had been taken to see him, my grandma brought me home. I was about 2.5, and I went downstairs to my mom's room. She used to be in the basement at my grandparents'. I climbed up on bed with her, and I smacked her in the head with a glass baby bottle. That was my mother's awakening for me, quite often, actually. I used to hit her over the head with things. I was not very nice, apparently. We moved to Calgary when I was 6 years old. I've moved around a lot. I've moved like 26 times, but when we first moved to Calgary, our house was just getting finished being built. My grandparents bought a brand new house that had never been lived in before. And we were staying in a hotel, and we had been there for about 2 weeks. And me being 6 years old and extremely frustrated with this situation, I finally one day burst into tears, sat down on the bed, and was like, "I don't have a home! I'm homeless! I don't have a home!" Freaking right out and crying. And my grandparents were laughing at me because it was one of the funniest things, considering I was staying in a fairly expensive hotel room, but I was with a pool and like a buffet and everything downstairs, but I was crying about the fact that I was homeless. It's really great to see how a 6-year-old's mind works. I'm trying to think of some other really funny things that I've done. Like, there's a lot of stories that my parents tell me about stupid little things that I've done that make me sit there and go, I was either really dumb or very, very gullible at that age. I'm trying to think of anything else, but I really can't right now. I will probably come up with other things as I go, and I will probably do some other videos about it. But yeah, those are just some examples of what I was like when I was little. I was very, very gullible and a bit of a drama queen at that age. And yeah, I haven't changed much. So, hope you guys like those stories. Hope they made you laugh, you know, the usual. So, love y'all. I will do another video. I hope, maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna try and see what I can do. So, talk to you guys later. Bye!